Hello, welcome back to another video on my ongoing series on speculations in comic books. I went through my many boxes of junk that I didn't throw out. A few years back I bought a collection that had an old price guide in it. But I really didn't pay much attention to it. I remember seeing it and I kind of tossed it in a box along with a bunch of other fanzine stuff that came along with that collection. So after I made the last video about this topic, I of course went frantically looking through all the boxes that I still have to see if I didn't throw it out, and luckily I did not. So here is number 8, 1978. Okay, so I found the old price guide, 1978, and look right on the back of this book is ads on plastic bags for comic books. It's say nothing about board, but at least here is an ad for all the sizes as far as a magazine as well as Golden Age comic book. So not bad. 100 bags for $3. Probably considered spendy, I don't know, back in 1978. But so here's the price guide, 1978. So after I found it yesterday, I did spend a lot of time looking through it and read, and a lot of interesting stuff. I definitely highly recommend people to go and buy cheap readers that on eBay. I think you can buy a lot of cheap old beat up price guide on eBay because it's a lot of fun, at least for me, right off the bat, on the very first few pages, it lists the most valuable titles. Back in the old days, it's interesting to see that they actually list the value of a complete run. The most valuable comic book run in 1978 is Marvel Mystery Comics. Below that is of course Action Comics, but it's interesting to read what was mentioned in this price guide. A complete mint run of Action Comics is priced at around $20,000. Where the heck can you find mint Action #1? So back in the old days, that you have basically all the price guide. At least the oldest one I have with this one, you basically have 3 conditions. You have let me see, good, fine, and mint. So the grading thing has not progressed as much as it is today. Certainly, the definition of mint back in 1978 is not the same as it is today. But what I found interesting is the 50 most valuable comic books. Number 1, not Action #1, it's Marvel Comics #1. Okay, so over the years, the top 10 has shifted a little bit, but most notably is some of the books that completely fell out of the top 10, even maybe top 20 for sure top 20. So you're looking at Marvel Comics #1 as the most valuable comic books. That definitely no longer. I don't have the latest price guide to check, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Number 2 is Action #1, the first appearance of Superman. That is today most valuable comic books. On number 3, Motion Picture Funnies Weekly #1. Definitely not in the top 10 today. Okay, so number 4 on the list is Wiz #1, the first appearance of Shazam, and that's definitely no longer in the top 10, I don't think. And if you go down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, number 9 on the list is Walt Disney Comic and Story Volume 1 #1. So between Marvel Comics #1, Wiz #1, Motion Picture Funny Weekly, and Walt Disney Comic and Story, those 4 that used to be in the top 10, I'm pretty sure is not in the top 10. Wiz and Marvel may be still in the top 10, maybe, but definitely not in the top 5. I think they probably fall down way below. But it's interesting to see how something has changed in the last 30 plus years of the hobby as far as what people want or consider more valuable. If you look at the top 50, okay, since the list is a top 50, you see a lot of Disney stuff, a lot of Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse stuff. So it's definitely not what it is today. Now, you look at the top 50, you see a lot of Marvel Silver Age first appearances. But if there are people that interest in seeing more of what I mentioned in this price guide, let me know, because I would not mind scanning some of these pages and load them up on some website, and then so that people can read what I'm talking about. It's certainly cheaper than going to buy a copy of this, right? It's like I said, it's just mind-boggling how fun it is to read this. But the last price guide I mentioned was number 12, which was 4 years later than this book. And right here on the very same page is the top 50 most valuable comic books. There's a paragraph that sounds very familiar. Since speculation in the comic book market began around 1964. There it is again. Most all titles since that time have been saved and are in plentiful supply. The exact same sentence. So I wonder if this go back to even the very first price guide. I have been trying to find a very first copy of a price guide, but I have no luck in finding one. So if anybody have a lead in anyone selling the very first copy of the price guide, let me know. I don't mind paying a fair value, whatever the fair value is for a price guide, but I have a few leads, but it's slightly more expensive than what I'm willing to pay, because I don't need a nice copy. I don't mind a reader beat up copies. So that's an interesting little paragraph there. Let me see. What's neat about these old price guide is, it mentioned about the history of comics fandom, and I definitely will scan that if people want to read that, because I don't want to bore people to death reading the page here. But it mentioned about fandom, fanzine, and it have a mention here of Don and Maggie Thompson. Does that name ring a bell? I will put a link to another video here. Don and Maggie Thompson is very, I would say very important. That's not the right word, but they are two of the many individuals that us fans should be thankful for, as far as people that love comic books and went out of their way to create the fandom and enhance the hobby that we have in the 70s and 80s. And I believe Don is no longer with us, but Maggie Thompson is still around, and the link to the video below is very recent because she is selling off her massive collection. In fact, Heritage just auctioned off a ton of incredible books that she had. You know, a Hulk 1 8.5, Avenger 4 9.6, you name it. Her husband and her had a collection that are just mind-blowing. Pedigree, high-grade books, all the way from the Silver Age all the way to, you know, Bronze Age. She has like a Hulk 181, maybe 9.6 or 9.8, but Green Lantern 76, 9.6, you name it. They have a huge collection. Some of it was auctioned off this past week, and I'm pretty sure many more books are coming in the next few months, because like I said, they had hundreds of thousands of comic books. So I look forward to see what great books the Don and Maggie Thompson pedigree will have. But so it mentioned her here, and in here it mentioned that in 1964 the first Detroit fan meet happened, as well as the first Chicago fan meet happened in 1964. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened in 1964 as far as fan getting together, that I found interesting. So, you know, it's always a lot of fun to flip through these books, and amazingly there are quite a few dealers that advertised way back in 1978 that are still in business today. You know, sure, there's a lot that I definitely don't know still exists, but I did run into quite a few. For example, JS Comics, they're still around. They have auction weekly on eBay still. I'm sure you can look it up, but J and S Comics, they're still around. For giggles, Action Comics #1 in 1978, a mint copy. Okay, and it's like I said, they don't exist, but for the price guy's sake, they have it. A mint copy would be priced at $7,500, and a fine copy would be $4,687. So if you have an Action one, that's what the value is. Who knows if anybody was able to buy things at that price. Amazing Fantasy 15. Okay, Amazing Fantasy 15, first appearance of Spider-Man. Care to guess what the price is for a mint copy? Let me see. $360. For a fine copy, $240. Spider-Man #1, mint copy, $300. Amazing. Let's see, what's Batman #1, mint copy, $2,200. You can't even find a fair copy today for that price. Amazing. Let's see, Fantastic Four #1, let me see. $600 for Fantastic Four #1. Like I said, I went through this, and there's just so many neat things to read. For sure, X-Men, okay? X-Men number 1, $60. Underappreciated, unloved, uncared for. $60 for an X-Men number 1. And this book came out in 1978. So the new X-Men have hit the stand, okay? The new X-Men has hit the stand, and look at this. X-Men 94. 60 cents for mint copy. Giant size X-Men number 1. $1.80. X-Men 108. First burn drawing of the X-Men. 40 cents. Oh boy. So like I said, the price guide is slightly behind the curve at this point as far as the popularity of the X-Men. Okay, it hasn't the news has not hit Mr. Overstreet yet on how hot the new X-Men is, because X-Men 94 is 60 cents. So yes, like I said, you know, I can go on and on about how wacky things used to be, but you know, it's an important piece of history to you know, these things are like a little window into the past, since we don't have a time machine to go back to see what's going on with the hobby. Last but not least, one of the funniest thing I came across was this near the end of the book is this ad. Okay, a dealer was placing an ad on what he was going to buy. Avenger number 1, $30. That's what he's offering. Fantastic Four number 1, $125. He's willing to pay. X-Men number 1, $10. It's hilarious. It's hilarious what you know, what the price used to be. You know, you can't help but chuckle at seeing the prices. So here, so before I go, thanks for watching. You know, I know I'm rambling on way too long. At least we have you know, seen an ad now for bags. Definitely haven't seen board yet. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and I welcome additional input, insights from you guys out there. Okay, thanks for watching.